Live in the shadows of history. It is a political and historical story, yes, but it's also deeply personal. It holds a mirror to the fractures in our society and the fragility within the family when truth is suppressed. Because when power changes hands by force, when there's a military coup or a natural disaster caused by years of neglect, it is not the powerful who suffer first. It is the innocent, ordinary families that are torn apart. Children are displaced, parents are silenced or disappeared. The people caught in the crossfire are those simply trying to live, to raise their families and to survive. Cordelia gives voice to those quiet victims, the ones history books often forget. And one of the most moving aspects of this film, what binds it emotionally, is the music. The original score was composed by the talented Michael Odulade, but it reached new creative heights through a unique collaboration, the music department of the University of Delaware in the US, under the leadership of Professor Anderson. Basically, I work in adaptation because I love literature. I've read all our authors, I've been influenced by all the superior arts, but I've done a lot of adaptations. Koshegbe, Oleku, Mami, Thunderbolt. They are books. That's when you write, they are books. And Cordelia is adapted from Femi Oshofison's work. Remember that we have done Mami, written by Femi Oshofison. As a matter of fact, when I approached Professor Femi Oshofison, I had Cordelia in my hands. It was like not a complete novel, it's like a novella or something. We could not believe that such a powerful story can come out, things can come out from such a small book. And when I got to him, I told him, I sat down, I told him that I had come to discuss Cordelia. And then he laughed and said, I don't know, maybe if you saw Mami, I don't know what you think about it. So he went inside and brought Mami. And I read the few pages and said, this is what I'm going to do. This is the one I'm going to go first. You know, and at that time, remember in 2010, they had brought the World Cup first time to the African soil. And I wanted to connect his story to the World Cup. So I said, no, this is what I'll do first. And for about 7 or 8 years, I kept Cordelia in my cabinet, waiting for the opportunity. And then one day, I got visitors. It was Professor James Anderson from, he's the professor of music and is the head of orchestral activities from University of Delaware. And what came in some of the delegation, and what they wanted me, they wanted to be involved in a project that was called Cultural Fusion. Originally, they wanted me to give them one of my old films, which they would take the soundtrack down, and then we would score a music, we compose the music in Nigeria, and when they get back with audience and everything, they will screen the film without the music, and the live orchestra of about 75 people will play to it. Once he finished talking, I said, no, I'm not going to give you any of my old films, but I'm going to make a new one. So I went inside and brought Cordelia and said, this is what we're going to make. So many things have inspired Cordelia. the music is special. It was composed by Michael Obolade, and then it was arranged, scored, and performed at the University of Delaware in the US. And as you can see, it looks like a small story, but it connects all of us. And I'm lucky to have had such a fantastic cast behind it. If you see the film, you will see what magic these stars have brought to this film.
So coming from that line, sir, I wonder, I don't know if anybody within us would also be thinking such, that with the caliber of cast you have on ground, or that you used in the movie.
Because sometimes when you are creative, God surrounds you with what you need. Like my brother William, we had worked together on campus school. I think we had a scene or two at the moment, but I never forgot it. You know, so when the time came, professor struggling with the marriage in the university and so on. So I thought, well, I asked one or two people, and then 3 days before we started, he called me. He just wanted to say hi, hello. And I said, what are you doing for the next 1 month? And then that's how William came in. And of course, my sister here, you know, that never worked together, or even perhaps never met. But everybody kept suggesting, you know, get involved, get involved. And so she said, and then this tailor-made, tailor-made for Major, from Major Kawali in the past. So, you know, we found ourselves, or the film found us.
Yeah. So everybody loves to work with TK, really. But I still want to ask you that, what actually informs you
of myself and my environment in it? And I'm a keen observer of the society, so I can easily match people to these roles. And I cast people who are closest to the character before I decide that's the person that's going to play. You know, so as I go along, I look at everybody, and you know, so I store it away. And when the time comes, I recall it and say, get somebody like that. Sometimes it works like that for me, because, but sometimes there are surprises, things that I didn't think about, or never. But I have learned as I live my life to pay attention to everything happening around me. Sometimes, when I'm about to start a project, I'm always careful about people who just visit me out of the blue. You know, because there has to be a reason. I don't believe meeting is anyway, not a coincidence. I feel something deeper when I meet people. Look at Bukola Oyemi that play Aruba. I've tried, you know, some of the cast I wanted in mind, but something funny was happening. Anybody I had in mind was either due for delivery, a new baby, or just too pregnant to move. I said that, so I was wondering what the hell is happening. And one day, Bukola showed up, slim girl, dark, and she's serving. She's in youth service from Para University, or University of Ilorin, research there. And then I said, okay, all right, come again, and so on. Then she was just for 2 minutes and said, call her back, call the girl back. And that's how she played the pro. You know, so I'm always very receptive. You know, because one thing very great about Nigeria, our country, is what God has given us. We have everything, any location you can dream of. From Sahara to the Atlantic Ocean, all the East River, swamps, everything, you have everything. But more importantly, we have the people. Largely, Nigerians are so creative that you can almost virtually pick anybody on the road and you'll be ready to act. Not to talk about not talented, tested, trained, educated, you know, talents like I work with all the time.
All right, thank you, sir.
Without them, I mean, there will be no film.
All right, thank you, sir. Can we have other media outlets to ask these questions now? But before that, I would like to direct my first question to the lead actor, sir. How was it like working with TK? And then what was your experience at the locations?
Okay, so I will not start with Cordelia. I will shoot back to the first time I ever worked with him. I was in University of Lagos studying English, and they came to do audition, so I worked.
Part of that movie, probably a kind of a part two, because the story of the military era, and I don't think anything has changed as far as this country is concerned, comparing the military and the what we have. Just as if you have it in the movie. But I mean, this is not a cool, but I mean, you passing a message, because I can see a strong message coming out from that movie. So I mean, relating that, from the 90s and to what we have today, nothing has changed. And it's still the same,
We're in a democracy. We have a robust democracy in place.
I bet to disagree. But it's okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Let me just quickly chip in something there. Having to have in the Nigeria of the 90s, 80s, 90s, and all that, the military era, and falling into this period, you see how we've fallen, or rather, things have gone up to what it is today. So most times, we storytellers, we say like they say, literature leaves the society. Leaves the society back to the society. So we haven't seen the film yet.
Yeah.
We've seen the snippets of it. It can propel a project that if you don't do X, Y, Z, this might happen.
Yeah.
So it's just like a foretelling for you to guide the society the way it should go, so that when you do that properly, everything goes right.
I hope our actors and actresses can.
I
take
let
a
me just
lesson from
summarize
it.
Cordelia like that. Sometimes when you watch the film, you realize maybe it's just a casual glance at our recent historical past. But at the end of the film, you can just say, oh, it's a love story. So there's no way you can tell what is the something you have seen.
Oh, yeah.
You can even come into the cinema and you pick out, you carry the military, whatever, and so someone comes and take love story.
Yeah,
And someone comes and says, I want to be a professor.
All right, thank you, sir. Can we have the can we have the second to the last question from Milefo CV?
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Tayo. Sir TK, my question goes to you, because there's this word that says that music does not need any permission to enter our spirit. Is it that Cordelia is promising us that he's going to set our souls on fire, that for us to expect the next thing to happen in this movie? Because I realized that you've been saying something about this musical part of the movie.
Exactly. So all I want you to watch is the last scene of this film. And hear the sound that accompanies it. Then you come back and come and say, TK, you're right. Even if you are dead, you wake up and respond to it.